Hey guys, Taro here. Welcome back to UniONE, this time episode 18 for season 1, the Brazilian Grand Prix. Brazil cost another power track, but hopefully with good results. Obviously try and maximise the pace through sector 2. That's where we're trying to get most of our time, because the straight line speed on Russia is decent, I guess, if you're on a low drag setup. Which means we'll compromise through sector 2 as well. We want to make up our time though. Again, just hopeful of the points position. Something higher than 10th, that's what we need to get. Because not enough races left for me to keep finishing 10th and to beat Toro Rosso in the Constructors. Unless Toro score any higher points, that is. Heading off to the airport, off to Brazil. Again, my second favourite race on the calendar, so hopefully with a strong result there. Heading off now to Sao Paulo, which is a good race. Well, Brazil always is a good race, really. So now it's time to take you through the qualifying report. Taking a look at the grid for the Brazilian Grand Prix, it'll be Lewis Hamilton taking pole by 0.02 of a second from his teammate Nico Rosberg, and this time Bottas got the better of his teammate Massa to take third. Ricciardo will start 5th and just out-qualify his teammate Sebastian Vettel, and 6th with Buemi starting 7th. Magnussen showed some promising pace, lining up 8th on the grid and was 2 tenths quicker than his teammate Jenson Button, with Hulkenberg completing the top 10. Josh Chur would just miss out on a place in Q3, he'll start 11th with Perez 12th, and for the second race in a row, Fernando Alonso will start from 13th. With the Toro Rosso dropping off the pace in recent races, Verne will start 14th and Kvyat starts 15th. Kobayashi will start his final race for Caterham in 18th position, as Verstappen is racing with Ericsson for the final race at Abu Dhabi. With Rosberg already having one hand on the championship trophy, Hamilton desperately needs a good result here. Can he hold out, take the win, and claw back some desperately needed points in the championship? Let's find out. It's time for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Taking a quick look at the strategy options, going to be a one-stop as usual. Starting on the option tyres once again to be as fast as possible at the start of the race and aim for today higher than 10th place and beating the Toro Rossos. Then coming out to the 5 red lights for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go for yet another shocking start this season. Something definitely to work on for next season, can't keep doing this. And yeah, Perez actually gets us for 11th place there, coming to turn 1, completely ahead of us there. And I've got to worry about Verne behind us, possibly. Made a move past Alonso to go up into 13th position. Now coming down into turn 4 now down the straight. See the top 11 already pulling away from us, going 3 wide up in front. We should dive up the side of Perez and forcing down. Actually hit into the back of Buemi there. What is going on up in front? This is a massive cluster of cars here. But somehow we've escaped without any damage and we're up into 10th position. Now coming up into turn 5 or 6 this is, second sector now, going up the inside of Buemi and the inside of one of the Red Bulls and up the inside of one of the McLarens as well. So that's us up into 7th or 8th position now, coming up behind the other Force India of Nico Hulkenberg. And now we're going to dive it up the inside of Hulkenberg. Yes we do manage to get the car turned, and now we're alongside 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel. And now it's going to drive right around the outside of 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel. And now we're up into 5th position. From starting 11th and we're down to 12th, and now up to 5th position. Right behind Nico Rosberg, who has not had a good start whatsoever. Gaining on him, Slipstream and Rosberg actually comes into the pit lane at the end of lap 1. And so does the other Mercedes, is that Hamilton? Yeah, Hamilton is the pits as well. So Hamilton's going on to the option tyres. Hamilton's doing a 2-stop, and that's actually held up. Nico Rosberg had to stack behind his teammate. It's like one of the Red Bulls are doing the same as well. But what a strategy are Mercedes and Red Bull thinking here? And throughout all of this, Felipe Massa is leading his home Grand Prix. Now we're now in 3rd with Bottas in 2nd, so it's a Williams 1-2 currently, with us in 3rd and Hulkenberg just behind us in 4th. With I think the McLarens in 5th and 6th possibly. One of them's definitely in 5th. Now coming on to replay what happened with that cluster of cars. Either Sebastian Vettel just dives it up the side of Ricciardo, doesn't judge his braking and just ploughs into Rosberg there. That just causes a chain reaction, everyone bunching up behind. Now coming onto the end So I forced over lap 5. Bottas actually comes into the pits to make a pit stop, so is Bottas doing a 2-stop as well? Surely you can't do 14 laps on a set of tyres to get to the end of the race. So now we're moving to second, Hulkenberg now up into third. Hulkenberg's pressuring us now, coming down into the second DRS straight. Is Hulkenberg going to try not to make a move? We don't really defend this. And Hulkenberg just gets completely around us and moves straight ahead of us there. It's completely got us there for second position. Now try and keep behind him, try and keep close to the second sector, possibly try and make a move at the end of the lap. The Hulkenberg is already pulling away from us there, so we ran slightly wide. Now here's Bottas coming out of the pits, still behind a Lotus and a Caterham, and there's actually Lewis Hamilton there as well, and the Red Bull Sebastian Vettel. And Nico Rosberg is actually at the back of this train, so somewhere Vettel's got past Rosberg in all of this. Now Bottas still behind the Sauber, Hamilton actually gets up the inside of the Sauber there. Possibly thinks about making a dive on the Lotus as well, but sticks behind for the time being. Now this is absolutely ruining all of these guys' races here. Now coming onto the end of lap 5, gaining in slipstream, and Hulkenberg actually comes in for the pits now, so I think Hulkenberg's doing a 2-stop as well. 13 laps on the set of the medium tyres, if you're onto medium tyres that is. Don't think that's possible, with Hulkenberg surely doing a 2-stop as well. So now they use Magnussen right behind us, and assuming the Force Indias and the McLaren's fairly evenly matched, Magnussen's going to be trying to look and make a move on us pretty soon as well. Now put it up into Rich Mitch, try and defend, and somehow Rosberg managed to set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix despite being stuck behind the Caterhams and the Lotuses. I think that just shows the dominance that Mercedes have this season. If being stuck behind a car that's about 3-4 seconds a lap slower than them, still will set the fastest lap of the race from Massa or me in the lead. Now coming on to the end of lap 8, our tyres are brick red on the damage indicators you saw there. And talking of brick red, we've got the Ferrari. Fernando Alonso has actually caught us up as we come into the pits now to make our one and only stop on to set of the medium tyres to go to the end of the race. And I would think that Alonso is doing the same, and just in front there you can see Massa coming into the pits for what should be his one and only stop as well. Now coming on to medium tyres, we need a good stop here if we want to come back out ahead of Alonso. But no, it's actually been held. Alonso actually jumped us there. Now where's this cluster of cars going to come out in relation to me and Alonso? Going around turn 2 now, it's going to be pretty close between us, I think. You can just see there, they've actually got ahead of Alonso, which means they're definitely ahead of us as well. Now one of the Force Indias looks to make a move on one of the Lotuses there. How much going to get jumped by the other Force India and Buemi as well, so Buemi must have stopped a lap earlier. Has got the undercut on us and come out ahead of us now, which is not what we need. We need to try and get while tyres are fresh, you need to get back up behind the back of that Ferrari and overtake it as quickly as possible and use the other back markers to our advantage to hopefully hold up these guys to try and make moves on them. And now coming onto the back straight now on the same lap, we've actually caught up right to the back of Buemi. In DRS though, DRS actually closed there for some reason, so maybe we've got a problem with their DRS, but now it opens once again. We actually dive it up the inside of Buemi. Gained a lot of speed there coming into turn 1 of Buemi, which is rather surprising. We actually turn in there, and I'm not expecting Buemi to still be on the inside, so I decided to let Buemi back past there because that wasn't really a fair move to trying to force Buemi out like that, so now we've got to try and re-overtake the Ferrari driver. Now just up in front you've got one of the Force Indias going side by side with Fernando Alonso, and it looks like the Force India is actually going to make his way past Fernando Alonso there. So coming up into the second sector now, Buemi's actually pulled a slight gap on us there, but now we get great momentum through the corner, make it move up the inside of Buemi like we did back on lap 1, and dive it up the inside of Alonso, and now we're going side by side with Sergio Perez. So Perez was the Force India going side by side with Alonso on the previous corner. Now going side by side with Sergio Perez. Perez going to get boxed in up front by the Lotus, when we managed to dive it up the inside of Perez to for what is now 8th position. Now going side by side with the Lotus driver, made a bit of contact there, and Grosjean just backs out completely. Don't really know who's thinking behind that, but I'm not complaining about it. Although it's reminiscent to the moves made on lap 1 to get up to 5th position, and now we're into 7th, and Massa, onto lap 11 for him, still leads the Grand Prix. But now coming onto lap 13, both the Ferraris have now cleared the Lotus, and Force India must have made a pit stop. Now Alonso and Buemi challenging right behind us now, but surprisingly, with DRS, the Ferrari's still going to get past me, which is a bit surprising, just showing the lack of straight line speed that those Ferraris have. And with a low drag setup, this Marussia seems to be faster than them, but now Alonso with second part of the Chariot DRS, we move slightly to the inside, but Alonso just moves in further to the inside. Dives it up the inside there. Has Alonso got the move done? Yes, he has, and we move aggressively to the inside to force out Sebastian Buemi in case he's thinking of making a move as well. Now try and keep close to Alonso, put the engine up into rich mix, trying to keep with Alonso. Try and make a move, keep close through the second sector. But I don't think we're going to manage it. Alonso locks up slightly there. You can see there on the track the traction. Ferrari's just pulling away. Now coming on to lap 16, Alonso just pulled off into the distance. Now got to worry about his teammate Sebastian Buemi trying to make a move on us now. Now Buemi gaining in the slipstream, gaining the DRS, pulls to the inside. We're going to try and keep it around the outside with a slight lock-up though. Try and keep it around the outside. No, it doesn't have enough for the car round, and Buemi's got us there for third position, but we're a lot closer to Buemi than we were to the back of Alonso. See, they're showing the nose, showing I'm not giving this position up without a fight. Now, actually get a great one up the hill, keep the line nice and tight, and dive it back up the inside of Sebastian Buemi for the third time in this race. We made an overtake round that corner on Sebastian Buemi. You think you'd know by now, that seems to be our favourite spot to making overtakes on this race. And now you see there, Buemi's right behind us, and one of the Mercedes is actually catching up as well. Not quite sure which one that is yet. Now coming to lap 17, Buemi's looking to make a move on us once again. See how it breaks us there. We actually put a wheel on the grass, and that forces us out wide. And I think Buemi's now got us for third position, and now that leaves Lewis Hamilton as the actual Mercedes right behind us now. Now coming on to the end of lap 17, Lewis Hamilton comes alongside, we give Hamilton the inside line to try and make a move on us, but once again, this is a straight line speed. This Marussia has actually been pretty decent this race. And now we break early, leave Hamilton the inside line, because I think we have to let Hamilton pass there to get back on Toto Wolff's good side after Singapore. So now down to 5th position, got one lap to try and fend off Valtteri Bottas in the Williams. Now we've got DRS and slipstream thankfully off of the back of Hamilton, and I think that's going to be just enough to keep us ahead of the Williams for the time being. Now we've got to keep it clean through the second and third sector to not give Bottas a chance to make an overtake on us. Now coming through the final sector, still ahead of Valtteri Bottas for the time being, but through all this battling and all these two stops, this allows Felipe Massa to take his first win since Brazil 2008. Felipe Massa wins the Brazilian Grand Prix in front of the home crowd. You can see there how much this win means to him. First win in almost 6 years. And now is Buemi going to keep it ahead of Hamilton? The third position? I think he just kept it there. Now we're going to keep 5th position ahead of Bottas. And with this result, unless Toro Rosso scored any good points, I think this moves Marussia ahead. Taking a look at the race results, and Felipe Massa will take his first race win in 6 years. 15 seconds ahead of Alonso in second, and Buemi in third takes his first ever podium in Formula 1. Hamilton recovered to 4th, and we just kept ahead of Bottas to keep 5th, with Bottas finishing 6th, Vettel 7th, Kvyat scoring some more points with Toro Rosso in 8th, Hülkenberg 9th, and Rosberg rounded off the points in 10th position. Another disappointing showing from both the McLarens, finishing outside the points in 11th and 12th, same for Perez in 13th. Sutil in 14th, Grosjean and Maldonado 15th and 16th, Ricciardo, after doing 3 stops in the race, finishes down in 17th, with Kobayashi finishing his last race where he started in 18th. With Gutierrez, Chilton noticing completing the finishes, and Verne didn't finish due to a gearbox failure. Moving on to the driver standings, and Rosberg has a 15-point lead going into the final race at Abu Dhabi on 306 points to his teammate Hamilton's 291. Valtteri Bottas in third is now only 6 points clear of his teammate Felipe Massa. Vettel now drops down to 5th after Massa's resurgence in the second half of the season. Alonso now moves 19 points clear of Daniel Ricciardo in 6th. Raikkonen still remains in 8th, 16 points clear of Nico Hülkenberg in 9th, and Jenson Button still rounds off the top 10 on 49 points. We now move up to 11th on 44 points, and Sergio Perez rounds off the top 12 on 36 points. Moving on to the Constructors' Championship, it's been this way for quite a while now, but Mercedes are Constructors' Champions for 2014, as their lead is definitely uncatchable coming into the final race. Mercedes are on 597 points to Williams is, but that should say 356 points instead of 256. Red Bull are in third on 308 points, with Ferrari making some small gains but not enough to be able to take third position in the final race of the season, as they're on 234 points. Force India still remain in 5th on 110 points, with McLaren 6th. Marussia now move up to 7th on 44 points, 2 points clear of Toro Rosso. Sauber remain on 7 points, Caterham remain on 1, and Abu Dhabi will unfortunately be their final race ever in Formula 1. And Lotus still remain pointless in 11th position. Coming back home now to LA, 5th place in the race, great result. Finally gets Marussia ahead of Toro Rosso in the Constructors. But still, one race left at Abu Dhabi, of course the double points there, so if anything still to play for. Just gotta hope that Toro Rosso don't have a good final race. I think we had to let Hamilton pass there to actually get back on Toto Wolff's good side. So still 5th place, great result for Marussia, great result for myself as well. So, season finale next time out at Abu Dhabi, of course double points there. Don't know what the thinking behind that was. I guess double points, double the action was the thinking behind that, but personally I'm not too keen on this double points because it feels a bit fake, because it means one good result could ruin the hard work that a team or a driver's managed throughout the season. Could all come down to this one result where the other driver or team had a lucky result to take their place in the Drivers' or Constructors' Championship, depending on whichever. So that's been the Brazilian Grand Prix. Remember to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below your thoughts on the race. And as ever, I'll see you all next time.